What's up guys, this is the Dragon King, and if you do enjoy this video, comment down below and subscribe. Now let's begin this new video.
Inside a beautiful home, the hero and Miss Yan entered. Inside the house, Miss Yan forcefully pushed the hero away from her and confronted him, asking if he had intentionally caused the situation. Yes, Yu Yi replied, expressing his belief that Ji Yu Hongan was excessively arrogant and that it was his responsibility to teach him a lesson. The Yan family took great pride in their accomplishments. Miss Yan was taken aback by the hero's immense pride, which left her both shocked and surprised. Miss Yan slammed her hand on the desk, expressing her frustration over the trouble caused by someone who seemed to harbor anger towards the Yan family. The hero smiled happily and disagreed, explaining that he took this action because the woman was his wife, and he would fight anyone who tried to humiliate her. The hero began to explain the reasons behind his actions. He revealed that he was her husband and they had exchanged marriage vows. And their family, as well as other matters. Miss Yan was not listening to all of this, her face expressionless. Her eye turned red with anger. The hero had been speaking so much that his words had become nonsensical. Miss Yan, in a fit of anger, raised her voice and sternly told him to be quiet. He was shocked to discover that his beautiful wife could be so horrible to him, and she turned around angrily. Miss Yan glanced at him and firmly instructed him to cease speaking nonsense, as their relationship was evidently understood. The hero made a face and asked her if she would castrate him afterward. Miss Yan replied, informing him that once everything is finished, he will receive a reward and should then leave. The hero's eyes gleamed with happiness, as they knew that a reward awaited them. Miss Yan smiled and referred to him as a mercenary. She then asked how much he wanted. The hero, with a serious expression, pointed at himself and conveyed to her that he is a man who consistently depends on others. Miss Yan's face flushed slightly as she found herself at a loss for words, surprised to discover something positive about him. The hero wore a greedy smile as they assured her that insisting wouldn't cause her any harm. He asked her to give him a book on Kung Fu. Miss Yan was disappointed by that, which caused her to change her opinion of him, and handed him a scroll. The hero gazed at the scroll in wonder, regarding it as if it were made of gold. Miss Yan informed him that there was no reward. The hero believed it was imperative to become stronger as quickly as possible. Otherwise, those individuals who possess powers will be killed. Miss Yan issued a warning to the hero, cautioning him that engaging in cultivation would violate the natural law. She advised him to make adequate preparations. The hero was completely absorbed in the techniques described in the scroll, so he wasn't paying attention to anything else. The hero exuded confidence as he spoke aloud, expressing his belief that cultivating according to the method he was studying would not be too difficult. The hero continued reading the scroll further. Without talent, someone may find themselves confined to a secular level for their entire life. Furthermore, it is worth noting the increased difficulty of the higher levels. His eyes sparkled with a smile as he pondered the question of who among them possessed great talent. Miss Yan was recalling what she had heard about someone who had experienced 3 reincarnations in a single day, despite being in a secular state. Before the hero arrived in this world, his soul took on various forms at different stages of his life. As an infant, a child, and a boy. He achieved a spiritual awakening the moment he woke up. Afterward, he became invisible. And he heard Miss Yan talking about the 3 reincarnations. The hero recalled that during his time travel to this moment, he witnessed a series of images depicting himself at various stages of life, from infancy to old age. Then, the hero had a sudden realization. When he was coming to this place, we were able to observe all the reincarnations surrounding him. The hero's face was filled with horror as he realized that he had experienced his entire life in just one day. Pic 28. Miss Yan went to her bed and questioned why she was telling him all of this. She believed that he wouldn't comprehend her words, unaware that the hero had already experienced the 3 reincarnations. As she sat on her bed, engrossed in her book, she informed the hero that Ji Yu Hongan was unlikely to leave today. She advised him to stay in the room for the time being. The hero with a bright smile, he threw the scroll away and asked if she finally accepted him as her husband. The hero sprinted toward her, eager to plant a kiss on her lips. Miss Yan slapped him and firmly informed him that she would be sleeping on the bed, while he would be sleeping on the floor. The hero felt disappointed upon hearing this and pleaded with her, explaining that the floor was too cold at night. He expressed concern that she would feel lonely in bed and suggested that they sleep together. Suddenly, a small needle flew towards him, piercing the floor and causing him to tremble in fear. Miss Yan issued a warning to the hero, cautioning him that any further advancement towards her would result in a needle piercing his body. The hero crossed his arms and gazed at her intently, deciding to share a significant secret with her. Miss Yan gazed at the hero with curiosity, intrigued by the secret he was mentioning. The hero closed his eyes, exhaled, and approached her. He tightened his fist. He dropped to his knees and wept, gently touching Miss Yan's legs. He shared a partial truth, explaining that he felt rejected by society and had sought solace in the mountains. The hero recounted how Miss Yan had captured his heart, but also revealed the constant ridicule he had endured. Miss Yan felt uncomfortable when he touched her legs. Miss Yan gave him a strange look, showing no concern for his sad story. With a lewd grin, he uttered her name, Yan Ting, and inquired if she could empathize with him. He began to suggest to her that they sleep together. He requested that she help him experience that type of world. You understand his intentions perfectly. Despite knowing her name, I will continue to address her as Miss Yan. Miss Yan was filled with rage as she swiftly seized 6 needles and hurled them towards the hero, who cried out in distress, claiming that his spouse was being brutally attacked. A few minutes later, the hero was peacefully sleeping, snoring, and talking in his sleep. Meanwhile, Miss Yan was deep in meditation, her body enveloped in a vibrant red aura. Miss Yan was annoyed by the hero's sleep-talking. Miss Yan's eyes snapped open in anger as she glanced at the hero who was still talking in his sleep, repeatedly uttering the words, "Kiss me." Frustrated, she couldn't help but label him a jerk. In the early morning, the old man called out loudly to Miss Yan, and they informed her that there is good news. Miss Yan and I looked towards the door, listening to all of this. Miss Yan smiled warmly and kindly invited the old man to come inside. The old man flung the door open with wild abandon, accidentally striking the hero and causing him to scream out in pain. The old man looked behind the door and heard a scream. The hero expressed his frustration as he cursed at the old man for abruptly slamming the door in front of him. The old man, filled with surprise, inquired about the situation, unaware of the reason for the hero's presence. Miss Yan simply smiled, deriving pleasure from witnessing the hero's suffering. She then politely requested the old man to proceed with his narrative. The old man approached Miss Yan and informed her that Jiu Hong'an had been awake all night and had just departed. After that,
Miss Yan informed the old man in a serious manner that the ancestral land would soon be accessible, and as a result, she would be receiving her rightful inheritance. And they will no longer have to fear the Jetfire sect again.
the elderly man humbly bowed as a sign of respect and offered a prayer for the prosperity and triumph of the Yan family. Meanwhile, the hero was attempting to escape. The hero clenched his teeth in anger as he cursed and insulted his opponent, referring to him as an old bastard. He made a personal vow to defeat him in the future. The old man turned around and suddenly realized that the hero was attempting to escape. The old man used a peculiar purple energy to pull him back, causing the hero to be thrown upwards. As a result, the hero ended up flying in front of Miss Yan. Miss Yan observed everything with a complete lack of emotion. The hero landed with a thud. The old man informed him that he had caused a significant amount of trouble and inquired whether he still desired to escape. The old man glared at him for his actions the previous night, and he had a suggestion in mind. However, before he could voice it, he was interrupted. The protagonist stood up and shouted at him, asking if he wanted to kill him. The hero then reminded him that he was now married to Miss Yan. The elderly man raised his hand, prepared to take his life. However, before he could kill him, Miss Yan prevented him from proceeding further. The old man stood in silence, unable to comprehend why Miss Yan had halted him. The hero raised his voice and assured the old man that his sweetheart would protect him. Miss Yan told the old man that they can't bite the hand that feeds them. He should simply allow him to leave. The old man gazed at him with a somber expression and conveyed how fortunate he was. The old man respectfully bowed to Miss Yan and informed her that he would be taking his leave. Subsequently, he departed from the premises. The hero gazed at the old man as he walked away, making a solemn promise to himself that he would surpass all of them, sooner or later. 3 days had passed since the hero had arrived at Yan's family waterfall. He sat in deep meditation, with a scroll resting on his lap. An aura enveloped the hero's body. He considered this method to be simple, yet questioned himself, why am I unable to make any progress? On the side, 3 guys were looking at him with a confused expression. One of them asked if he's crazy. Because he has been reading that scroll for 3 days. He was insulted by the other person. One person silenced the group and informed them that the old man had revealed that they would have the opportunity to kill him after the ancestral land opening. Meanwhile, the hero remained in a state of deep meditation, his body enveloped in a vibrant red aura. The protagonist opened his eyes, causing the energy around him to disperse. The hero began to contemplate how they had previously sensed the presence of spirit energy, yet were still unable to harness it through practice. The hero has come to the realization that he has experienced his entire life in just 1 day. The hero noticed something that surprised him. The entire area was shaking, and birds were flying away. The hero swiftly stood up and shouted, questioning if what they were experiencing was an earthquake. Rocks were being propelled in all directions, with a few of them descending down the waterfall. Several disciples rushed down the waterfall, potentially attempting to harm him. Small rocks with fire fell down the waterfall. The hero was desperately calling out for his sweetheart to come to his aid. He quickly ran behind a large rock and anxiously wondered if it would provide enough cover. His face displayed a frightened expression as he voiced his concern.
After the intense shaking subsided, a magnificent palace with a grand arena emerged from beneath the ground. The hero was curious about what this was.
The Yan family, including Miss Yan, came close to confirming whether it was indeed the palace. Everyone was surprised. Miss Yan was uncertain whether this was the underground palace. The old man nodded in agreement. The old man confirmed that this was, indeed, the underground palace. The old man began to explain that the place they were in was the ancestral land of the Yan family, built by their ancestors. Miss Yan smiled and instructed them to follow her. After receiving the ancestral inheritance, Miss Yan made a promise that her family would soon rise to prominence. Suddenly, the old man pointed at the hero and instructed her to wait. He then proceeded to explain that the underground palace had been closed for a significant period of time. He is concerned that it may be contaminated with poison. They should allow this individual to go first and give it a try. The hero was taken aback when the old man pointed at him. He was trembling and asked, "What does he want?" The elderly man, with a stern expression, devised a water technique and used it to intimidate him into finding a solution for their predicament. It appears that Miss Yan has a fondness for the hero, as she passionately called out for the old man to halt.
However, the old man persisted and employed his water technique, forcefully pushing the hero down the stairs. Frustrated and frightened, the hero cursed Yan Shan, the old man, and let out a scream, and he fell down the stairs.
The hero descended the stairs and let out another curse. The old man was happy to be alive. Perhaps he was content with being alive. He respectfully informed Miss Yan that the underground palace was safe and directed her to proceed in this direction. However, just as she was about to proceed, a blazing arrow swiftly came towards her. Yan Shan, the elderly man, was both shocked and vigilant upon learning that someone had attempted to harm Miss Yan. Miss Yan quickly snapped her head up in alarm. However, she was unable to react in time as the unfortunate event had already occurred. All the disciples looked at the spot where Miss Yan was supposed to be with horror. A massive explosion suddenly occurred right where Miss Yan was standing. Yan Shan and all the disciples were filled with horror as they frantically called out for Miss Yan. There was another elderly man named Yan Sheng who held a stunning arrow, suggesting that he was the individual responsible for shooting at Miss Yan. Yan Sheng laughed with a grin, expressing his disbelief at the thought of him and his son missing the opening of the ancestral land. The hero brushed off the dust from his clothes. Curiosity piqued, he glanced up the stairs to see what was happening. Yu Yi, the hero, observed a group of people standing on opposite sides of each other. He wondered if they fought amongst themselves. Yu Yi also witnessed the explosion and was concerned about his wife's safety. Doubt begins to creep into his mind. Something was happening inside the explosion. At that moment, Miss Yan exclaimed, "Crystal form, activate."
Yan Shan was pleasantly surprised to discover that Miss Yan had actually mastered crystal form. Yan Shan and Yan Yao were filled with shock. The hero was astounded by Miss Yan's incredible power. Miss Yan's fiery aura erupted, overpowering the immense explosion. Yan Shan and Yan Yao shielded their eyes from the intense brightness of the flames. She was furious, her body covered in a red fire aura. She walked alongside the elderly man.
Miss Yan ordered Yan Shan to stop them, promising to take the inheritance. Yan Shan issued an order for all disciples to protect the underground palace. All of the disciples agreed to take the order. With an aura of fire, Yan Shang launched an attack and commanded his disciples, as well as his son, to forcefully make their way through the opposition, to allow his son to inherit the estate. All of them responded to the order.
Yan Shan skillfully defended against the attack using his water technique. Yan Sheng and all of the disciples charged forward, colliding with one another. There were numerous attacks happening all around, with projectiles flying in every direction. Suddenly, a powerful blast of red energy was unleashed by an unidentified individual. Yu Yi came close, causing him to quickly move in fright. Yu Yi shouted, "Wrong target."
Meanwhile, the old man Yan Shan shouted for Miss Yan to go to the palace, while Yan Sheng did the same, calling for his son to go to the palace. And both of them attacked each other. Yu Yi dusted himself off once more.
Before he could stand up straight, a rock struck his head, causing him to cry out in pain. Yu Yi also cursed in agony. Yu Yi, filled with anger, gestured towards Yan Yao, demanding that they take their fight elsewhere. As the hero, Yu Yi warned Yan Yao that if they refused to comply, their actions would result in the destruction of an important inheritance. If he fired another blast at him,
Yan Hao became angry and directed his hand towards Yu Yi, unleashing a fire technique with the intention of defeating the hero. The hero, upon witnessing the danger, cursed once more, lamenting the fact that this was happening once again. Suddenly, a fiery explosion engulfed the area where the hero stood. The hero, in agony, coughed up blood. He knows that everyone wants to murder him since he is howling and wiping blood from his mouth with his hand. Then he questioned Yan Yao, "Do you think I'm weak?" Suddenly, Yu Yi sprinted in the direction of the palace while threatening to ruin all of their inheritance. Miss Yan yelled at him to stop. Yan Hao, indignant, yelled at him, saying how could he do that? Yan Hao then rushed towards Yi Yu to stop him and perhaps even kill him while dousing his body with a fire aura. That concludes the video for now.
If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe for more, and have a great day.